And thank you very for joining us. Sorry, we're a couple minutes getting late started here, but we will make it worth your while. Appreciate everyone giving us a little patience as we figured out some technical challenges getting started. Welcome to our next ATS University. If this is your first time, ATS Spec Tool hosts a not quite weekly, called bi-weekly, 2 or 3 times a month. We host a webinar with one of our many manufacturers that sponsor our service. We are more than just an online webinar and CU accreditation system. We host many great presentations that focus on product and applications and code-based training. And all of those products can be found on the ATS spec tool and all of our white label spec tools. So the ultimate goal is not just to educate you on the product, but provide you with software support systems that help you easily configure your particular products, select the appropriate sizes, all your associated options, and then download them all free of charge, all available on many easy to access systems that I will try to show later on today if we get to the time. But last time we did a presentation with you, Alan, I think we had a number of great questions and a lot of great debates. So if we have time at the end, we'll try to show it, but we'll make sure to have time for questions as well. Anyway, so you can size, select, configure all of your products on the spec tool, download it in 10 different formats that are all designed to match however your firm goes to market with your projects. Schedules, PDFs, various types of written specs, Revit files, everything you could possibly need on the products that are in the system. I know a number of people are here with us today to, and go through their training that's required throughout the year. And we do have an accredited presentation from a wonderful gentleman at Bobrick, Alan Gettleman, who's a tremendous expert and has provided some great presentations to us in the past. So this is, design solutions for restroom privacy. This is an AIA accredited presentation. I believe it's IDCEC as well. Is that correct, Alan?
It is.
Perfect. And this is, there's many different ways that, accreditations get sent out these days. If you are just doing simple self-reporting, some of our presentations that are not accredited, we send out a simple certificate of attendance, and ATS will still do that. However, for your CEU accreditation for your AIA or IDCEC, I've put a link in chat, and I'm going to show a slide at the end of the presentation with more information on how to do this. You need to click the link, either sign up or sign in. If you've attended the last Bobrick presentation we did, you should already have your sign up, and you can just sign in, select the program, and you will get your certification. This is Bobrick's chosen method of how they are delivering these credits. There is a commitment between Bobrick and CEUevents.com that you're not going to get spammed with a lot of marketing emails. I know that's something that everyone's always concerned about, but you should be able to. I've put the link in chat again. I'll pop it in here as well, just so we have multiple options, and just click through, do your self-reporting, and you should be good to go. If you have any issues, we're also going to be sending out a follow-up email directly from myself and my market development team. So we'll be happy to walk you through any challenges that you may have. With all that being said, a lot of adieu at the beginning. Thank you for joining us, Alan. I'm excited for the presentation today. I know we've got a large audience that's excited as well. And I will make sure to keep an eye on chat and the Q&A field and bring up questions along the way. So with that, I'll pass it over to you to dive into the details today.
Thank you, Zach. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's ATS webinar. Our subject is design solutions for restroom privacy, and the emphasis is going to be on toilet compartments or toilet cubicles. This is an educational course that is presented by Bobrick Washroom Equipment. I am Alan Gettleman, Bobrick's Vice President of External Affairs. I'll be your instructor for today's webinar. Bobrick is a registered provider for continuing professional education with both the AIA and the Interior Design Continuing Education Council. Your attendance will earn credits and those will be reported to the AIA and the IDCEC if appropriate. You will receive a certificate of course completion for your personal record keeping and self-reporting purposes. Just a moment about questions. As Zach has said, if questions are important to you, they're also important to all the participants, and we appreciate those questions. We'd like to ask you to put those questions in the chat or the questions feature as we go through the presentation. There are breaks in the presentation, and at those breaks, we will have Zach go through and give us the questions, and I will answer them. All continuing education courses, of course, have learning objectives, and our learning objectives for this course are that you will understand the factors that contribute to the restroom or toilet compartment privacy as a design expectation in many building types. You will understand the different toilet partition design solutions and their varying degree of privacy. We will also review the cost-benefit analysis and construction implications of each of the privacy solutions. And finally, we will touch on the ADA compliance considerations that are associated with the different toilet partition privacy designs. Our lawyers have asked me to say to you that this presentation is protected by copyright laws. Reproduction, use of the presentation without my permission is prohibited. I also have to tell you that if you see anything in this presentation that's of interest to you, that you'd like to have a copy of this for your files, to share with colleagues or share with clients, by all means, address an email to me, Alan just A. Gettleman at Bobrick.com, and I will immediately grant you that requested permission and send you a copy of the presentation. Today, a large proportion of restroom users, from millennials to caregivers to individuals with personal health issues, view privacy in the restroom and particularly in the toilet compartment as a key amenity. As all gender restrooms rise in popularity, there may be even more requirements for privacy. In some cases, there are local laws that provide that privacy. So privacy is a key role in dialogues concerning restroom design. And in this course, we're going to cover the factors that have contributed to the rise of privacy as an expectation, the design solutions that can achieve various levels of toilet compartment privacy in the non-residential commercial restrooms, and consider the impact of privacy solutions on the accessibility standards requirements. Okay, we've now completed the introduction. We're now at our first break. Zach, are there any questions up to now?
We had a couple of questions come in on kind of just some of the follow-up. So just a reminder, I've put the link for the CEU events page in the chat, and I will show it on a slide at the end as well. This will also be included in our follow-up email process. You simply need to sign up or sign in and then register for the CEU event, which the link should take you right to that page. After that, you'll get your certificate and everything like that. You'll be good to go. If you have any challenges along the way, feel free to respond to the follow-up email. Myself or my team will certainly work with you to make sure that everything's done properly. We also had a question about getting a copy of the PowerPoint presentation. Similar process, just shoot me a note after the follow-up, and I will be able to pass that along to you. The event code is the link that I've been sending out.
Okay, thank you, Zach. Okay, now you got the drill on the questions. Let's move on to learning objective number 1. And here we're going to talk about the factors that contribute to toilet compartment privacy as a design expectation. Today, privacy using the restroom is seen as an expectation in a range of building types. It hasn't always been that way. little bit of history. In fact, the idea of a gendered segregated public restroom was not introduced until the mid-1700s and was viewed almost as a novelty. Gender segregated restrooms didn't become law in the United States until the late 1800s, when a law was passed in the state of Massachusetts to ensure that women in the workplace had a safe private restroom during working hours. Then, of course, in 1990, the Americans with Disability Act was passed and created the need for compliant, accessible restrooms. By 2013, 150 universities and a number of high schools had gender-neutral restrooms installed. In 2018, the International Building and Plumbing Codes included the term gender-neutral as proposed by the AIA, ensuring safe, dignified access to public restrooms for all. Let me define the term gender neutral at this point, because we're going to be using it through the presentation. Gender neutral bathrooms, also known as all gender, gender inclusive, or unisex bathrooms, are restroom facilities that can be used by people of any gender identity or expression. They provide a safe space for everyone, including transgender and gender non-conforming individuals, parents with children of different genders, and people with disabilities who have accompanying caregivers of another gender. Shifting attitudes are compelling designers and building owners to double down on privacy efforts. Beyond all gender restrooms, patrons are deserving more privacy, especially those who have various health and or personal needs, such as the use of an accompanying caregiver, nursing mothers, elderly individuals with health issues, and those who suffer from chronic conditions that they have to deal with on a daily basis, such as diabetics who require insulin injections. Other privacy drivers include gender inclusivity and ensuring transgender individuals have a safe private restroom available to them. From a personal safety standpoint, individuals may feel vulnerable in the restroom. Some reasons why privacy is needed to address safety concerns include child safety. Parents want to feel confident that their child is safe and within sight while they are occupying a toilet compartment. This is also true in educational environments where harassment can be a consideration. Personal security. Today, camera phones allow people to take photographs more covertly than ever. There have been incidents of people being caught trying to covertly sneak a photograph under the toilet compartment of someone in an adjoining compartment. And theft of personal belongings. There have been many documented incidents of individuals stealing purses and jackets by simply reaching over or under toilet compartment doors. All of these concerns underscore the importance of privacy in public restrooms. A patron's experience in the restroom can influence their having a positive or negative impression of the building, restaurant, store. It can also contribute to low or high employee morale and the likelihood of returning or not to a commercial establishment. Patrons care about privacy, and by extension, so should businesses and the design professionals who serve them. Gaps between toilet compartment doors and styles and the resulting lack of privacy have long been a source of patron complaints. This is typically a consequence of toilet partition material selection. For example, with metal toilet partitions, the gaps are due to configuring toilet compartment layouts to the size of the restroom using standard doors, panels, styles manufactured to whole inch dimensions. Social media has been a common outlet for individuals who wish to express their displeasure about public restroom facilities. And here's a few examples. All right, you get an idea of what people think about the toilet partitions and the gaps between doors and stiles that they experience in public restrooms.
I think the last picture there really drives the point home.
Yes, it does. A lot of visibility, maybe too much visibility, inside out, outside in. Some of the most common complaints are, number one, the standard 12-inch floor clearance on the partition doors can be seen as excessive and allow people to easily peek underneath to see if the compartment is occupied. Gaps between doors and stiles allow for visibility not only out from the outside in, but also from compartment to adjoining compartment, creating awkward, uncomfortable moments between strangers and co-workers. Large gaps can be an issue when it comes to closing and locking the doors, creating the anxiety-ridden potential for a door to accidentally swing open if the latch doesn't fully secure. Why are there gaps? Some toilet partition component materials are produced in stocked widths in which do not allow for precise matching of available room dimensions. Additionally, the installation process and quality of doors and stiles can produce larger gaps than desired, especially on the door hinging and the door latching sides. How big are the gaps? On the hinge side with standard hardware, it's about nominally 3/16 of an inch. On the closing side, the latching side, it's about 1/4 of an inch. Fortunately, there are many types of privacy solutions that can address this pain point. Mid-class B to premium class A commercial office spaces may require additional privacy to enhance patron and tenant satisfaction, provide safety, and create a more pleasant experience for employees and visitors. The global headquarters of a publicly traded bank in Southern California underwent a major restroom renovation to provide comfortable, positive, morale-building experience for employees. While design was important, privacy was key to ensure that all employees felt comfortable in the toilet compartment space. They were able to achieve a high sense of privacy with a European-style toilet cubicle system that has interlocking door and fascia panels that eliminated the sight lines. They added occupancy indicators on the front of the doors, and the doors were self-closing. A representative from the architectural firm said that partitions create an almost room-like environment. Privacy is also seen as an extension of quality design and can create an exclusive, private, and comfortable experience. Some prestige commercial office spaces may require high-end design in addition to privacy due to the status of the company or the clientele that visits the building. In a recent renovation in the restrooms at an iconic television and film studio in Southern California, shown on the left, the architect achieved a sophisticated look with a high sense of privacy by using European-style toilet cubicles with interlocking flush front door and fascia panels to eliminate sight lines, and also provided occupancy indicators. All of this is complemented by luxurious finishes in the restroom. More unique materials such as glass, as shown on the right, can also be used for prestige buildings to reinforce luxurious aesthetic. In addition to providing users with privacy, maximum height, no sightline solutions like these create a flush facade when all of the cubicle doors are closed. Educational facilities such as universities and high schools may require additional privacy considerations, especially when creating all gender restroom solutions, including those in dormitories, libraries, and other spaces with multiple gender occupancy. Vashon Island High School, a school just outside the city of Seattle, took it upon themselves to renovate both a boys' and a girls' restroom into 2 all-gender restrooms, the first of the kind in Washington State, as shown in these photographs. These considerations, such as increased height of 72-inch high panels, no sightline integrated doors and styles, and lower floor clearances, support the inclusiveness and privacy. Because of these privacy considerations, the principal remarked, making bathrooms all gender is the safest and clearest way to prevent students from having to explain or justify their bathroom use to anyone. Other examples. The Moffett Library at the University of California, Berkeley, shown on the left, was originally designed in the late 1960s. A recent renovation was completed that included gender-inclusive bathrooms, as shown in this photograph. Prior to construction, the university president declared the renovated library must feature gender-inclusive restrooms with toilet compartments that are individual and room-like, so that no individual could reach under or over a door or panel with their cell phone or selfie stick. The new restrooms feature high privacy toilet compartments with integrated no sightline privacy doors and styles, with floor-to-ceiling doors and extended height panels to enhance user privacy, support gender-inclusive design, and promote peace of mind. In addition, they're able to achieve this high level of privacy with no drywall and the use of minimal trades due to the materials they selected. Note that these features can be equally valuable to gender-inclusive restrooms, as shown here, as well as they could be for traditional men's and women's restrooms. Shown on the right is a Pollock Library restroom renovation at California State University campus in Fullerton, California, which needed an all-gender restroom solution that would serve the building's diverse user groups while achieving the utmost privacy. A no sightline partition system with occupancy indicator latches delivered privacy and practicality. Floor-to-ceiling 106.5-inch doors were employed to create a room-like environment without additional trades, cost, and construction implications associated with fully enclosed walls and single-user restrooms. The trend of all-gender restroom design underscores the scale of the privacy issue. For instance, consider this map. A number of states and municipalities have passed laws that protect transgender individuals and others who wish to use the restroom of their choice within public facilities. The states in blue have protection for bathroom access according to gender identity. The states in purple and white stripes have passed laws mandating gender neutrality for individual toilet rooms or single compartment restrooms. The states in white do not have any current gender bathroom legislation at the time this course was prepared. All right, that brings us to the end of Learning Objective 1. And Zach, are there any questions in the chat or?
We can pause to see if any additional questions come in. One thing I'll bring up is We talked a lot about, the number and range of applications where these all gender facilities or gender neutral, et cetera, are coming in. Um, there's a significant difference, it seems, from the full height privacy to just a raised or concealed hinge. How does that impact your design when you're trying to do full height privacy? Are there additional considerations to code that come up?
Yes, there are definitely implications to code when you go to full height, and we will cover that. Once the codes require in wheelchair accessible compartments, they require toe clearance, and if the way to get around that is make the compartments larger, make them deeper and wider, and we'll get into that a little specifically later on.
Perfect. And how, so the question did come in regarding, I guess, maintenance issues. Is there any, how do they adapt to some of the maintenance issues, or are there more maintenance issues that come up with full height or privacy partitions?
That factor really hasn't come up. Toilet compartments started in the 1920s. They were made out of metal. The metal sheets were of such a size that they ended up with a 12-inch gap at the floor. And that's how that 12-inch sort of measurement came into evolved. And of course, the maintenance people immediately found that 12 inches helped them because it was easier for them to do the mopping around the toilet if they had 12 inches of space underneath the door, underneath the adjoining, the dividing panels. Well, and the accessibility standards, the ADA adopted that 12 inches and has used that 12 inches. The international, the ICC has adopted that 12 inches as well. But the need for privacy has sort of trumped that 12-inch standard for cleaning and historical use, and people would now prefer the partitions go all the way to the floor, and the maintenance people have basically just had to accept that and go with it.
Yeah.
So it's a case where privacy is more important than the ease of maintenance.
So we did have a couple of questions coming on fire protection, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll cover fire protection in a moment.
Perfect. So there is one other question. As these partitions, they're being designed for privacy, but they're also more substantial. So do they have a more secure anchoring installation? Are they more resilient to vandalism as well?
Yes and no. If anything is ceiling supported, it's going to have substantial support. You just don't attach it to the ceiling tiles and the ceiling the exposed ceiling fascia. You have to provide bracing, steel bracing in the above the ceiling tiles to attach anything to the ceiling. Otherwise, the mounting at the floor is the same and the mounting at the wall is the same.
And then a couple of final questions coming in here are on full height panels, and whether it's a minimal clearance or a moderate clearance. So I imagine we're probably going to get into some specifics of what full height dimensions actually mean. If that's coming up, maybe we jump into that and go on for now.
We'll cover that. We'll cover that generally. It's usually it's within 2 inches of the floor and within 2 inches of the ceiling. That's accepted as full height.
Yeah, so that would provide still some.
That would provide tolerance for material differences and construction.
Yeah. So
variation.
in relation to some of the questions that, that inch or two would still provide some access to clean
Yeah,
and some air ventilation and movement, although there are some
we'll
limitations.
cover,
I'm sure we'll cover
we'll,
that.
there are
And
requirements
also
for
regarding workflow.
HVAC, there are requirements for the heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. There are the requirements for fire suppression. We'll cover that.
Perfect. So why don't we dive into the next section
Okay,
and we'll see if anything else comes up. Great
all right.
questions. Thanks, everyone.
All right, good questions, good learning. Thank you. Learning objective 2, we're going to go through the different toilet partition design solutions, and we'll talk about the varying degrees of privacy. Okay, we start with the standard toilet compartments, 58-inch high panels and doors, 12 inches at the floor. These are, the level of privacy here is low. Obviously, the standard toilet compartments are known for their 12 inches of clearance. They also have large gaps between the doors and the stiles. However, these issues can be addressed by either the addition of taller doors or by some add-on strips at the door and the latching stile. The cost of the standard compartment is mid-range, and there is less coordination of trades for installing this type of partition. Increases in cost could come from a variety of materials, finish options, and privacy options. The standard toilet compartments take up least amount of space. They are typically 61 inches deep from the back wall to the front of the compartment, and the space between the wall and the dividing panel can be as much as a ½ inch to an inch, depending upon the partition material. That's at the dividing panel at the back wall. Then we move on to the increased height toilet partitions. These are nominally 72 inches tall panels. This classification includes the standard toilet compartments with taller options, as well as some of the European cubicle systems. The increased height compartment provides medium privacy with the European style pedestal supported cubicles. The systems are not only taller to start with, but they also provide no sightline into due to the integration of a door and a framing system as seen in the photograph. The standard partitions utilize increased height options or privacy strips added to the doors may also fall in this category. The cost of the increased height compartments is mid-range. There is less coordination of trade. However, increases in cost can come from the variety of material and finish options for the partitions and custom sizing of partition components. Increased height toilet compartments allow each compartment to share HVAC system across the tops and bottoms of compartments, and they can utilize recessed lighting systems to share light across the entire row of partitions, and can share a single fire suppression system at the rate of one nozzle for multiple toilet compartments if the partition panels are at least 22 inches beneath the ceiling. Otherwise, the rate is one nozzle per toilet compartment. Increased height toilet compartments can potentially take up the least amount of space. However, floor clearance is a consideration, as many of these systems will provide 4 to 6 inch floor clearance, which necessitates deeper and wider compartments to comply with accessibility standards toe clearance requirements. Please note, if the wheelchair accessible toilet compartment interior dimensions are greater than 66 inches wide and 62 inches deep with a wall-hung toilet, or 65 inches deep with a floor-mounted toilet, no toe clearance is required. Extended height toilet compartments feature panels that are made to fit the height of the restroom. Some European-style cubicles may fall into this category. An added advantage of European-style cubicles is that they provide no sight lines due to the door and frame integration. Extended height partitions or cubicles allow for even more privacy and create nearly a fully enclosed space without the cost of additional labor associated with drywall. The level of privacy is very high. The cost of this extended height compartment will vary from mid-range to high-end. There is less coordination of trades compared to the fully enclosed with drywall and individual toilet compartments. However, increases in cost can come from custom partition sizing, as well as the potential need for additional lighting, HVAC, and fire suppression systems due to the partition height. Plumbing, tiling, electrical, and/or mechanical services will also be required. Extended height toilet compartments can take up a medium amount of space, but floor clearance is also a consideration with extended height compartments. Many systems with minimal floor clearance will require deeper and wider compartments to comply with the accessibility standards toe clearance requirements. A fully enclosed drywall toilet room involves the use of framing and drywall to create a floor-to-ceiling partitions on both sides of both the fronts and the sides of each toilet room. Fully enclosed with drywall toilet room privacy solutions often share a sink and are common area. So there's a couple of photographs here show a bank of lavatories opposite individual toilet rooms at the top. And at the bottom, we have a circular wash fountain in front of two panels of toilet compartments. One is toilets only on the right side, and the other is urinals on the left side. So these are both all gender expressions of public restrooms. The level of privacy here is high, since the barrier between the toilet rooms is floor to ceiling. The cost of a fully enclosed toilet room is a high end. Dependent upon design, special tile to cover the interior walls could drive up costs. Fully enclosed toilet rooms also require more expensive door hardware, numerous different trades, including framing, drywall, tile, and paint. And a fully enclosed drywall toilet room requires separate lighting, HVAC, and fire suppression systems. Fully enclosed drywall rooms take up a large amount of space, more space than a traditional toilet compartment design is required for the depth and width of each toilet room and the framing that's used on the dividing walls, and as well as the front frame door. Also note that the dimensions of the enclosed drywall toilet compartment that is wheelchair accessible has to be greater than 66 inches wide and 62 inches deep with a wall hung, or 65 inches deep with a floor mounted toilet, to comply with the accessibility standards, as there is no toe clearance with the full toilet room height walls. A single user restroom privacy solution involves creating individual restrooms with all necessary accessories and plumbing fixtures self-contained. The level of privacy of this solution is the highest, since they are all individual toilet rooms. The cost is the highest for several reasons. You've got tile to cover interior walls. Single-user restrooms also require the most number of trades, including framing, drywall, paint, tile, and lighting. You also need HVAC, fire suppression systems to meet local codes, and most expensively, this separate restrooms require plumbing fixtures for each individual room. Single-user systems take up single-user restroom systems take up the most amount of space, because each room is built on its own. Additional space is required for the depth and width of each room due to the framing and drywall needed. And on top of that, more space will be required for individual restroom fixtures in each room, as well as making sure they are ADA compliant, including clear floor space at the toilets, the urinals, lavatory, as well as wheelchair turning space. European style and traditional partitions can feature a number of design solutions that can increase privacy without the expense associated with fully enclosed walls or single-user restrooms. For example, integrated no sightline privacy doors and styles have routed edges, as is seen in the top photograph of a door swinging open from its style. And then in the bottom photograph, you'll see when the door is closed up against the style that the routed edges overlap and eliminate any gap sight line in and out of the compartment. And when the door is closed, as shown in the bottom photograph, you have a clean aesthetic across the face. Some privacy toilet partitions are made to order by the manufacturer, while others are stock size components. Because precision is critical when it comes to features like no sightline doors, it's important that each component is manufactured to strict tolerances. With stock door and style sizes, builders tend to compensate for discrepancies between the plans and the actual room dimensions that are available by increasing gaps at the sides of the doors and the styles. Companies that can provide made-to-order on all partition components can make doors and styles to nearly exact dimensions, side to side, with maybe a 1/16 inch tolerance, which really means little to no gaps. The type of hardware selected can also impact sight lines and thus have a significant impact on privacy. Some hardware can also enhance the patron experience. Hardware components may include hinges, latches, keepers, coat hooks, as well as mounting brackets. The options that may enhance privacy and aesthetics from the front of the toilet compartment include full height continuous hardware, which includes brackets that run from the bottom of the door and panel to the top. Eliminating sight lines at the hinges. Occupancy indicator latches provide users with a peace of mind and comfort by eliminating the need to look under the door to check a compartment occupancy. They also provide a more secure, sturdy lock between the door and the style, and this solution adds a layer of security and peace of mind for the compartment user from the outside of the compartment. Extended height privacy compartments, nominally 72 inches high doors and panels, have a nominal 4-inch floor clearance. A combination of the no sightline privacy doors and styles with the extended height privacy compartments provides the most privacy, as it combines both an interlocking door design and no sight lines and the nominal 72-inch high compartments. So compare this to the standard height of standard size toilet compartments and doors and panels. Metal, stainless steel, high pressure laminate, compact laminate, and solid color reinforced composite panels are typically 58 inches high. High density polyethylene partition doors and panels are typically 55 inches high. So therefore, the maximum height compartments can add as much as 17 inches to the standard door height. While we've been focusing on the front of toilet compartments as the most common considered privacy concern, there are also concerns regarding the divider panels that provide privacy between adjoining toilet compartments. Due to size limitations, some toilet partition materials, it's common to see two panels joined together by an H channel or a panel with an inline style when taller or wider panels are utilized. So here's an example. We're using, this is, you have an H panel in this used horizontally here to combine two panels to create a deep panel with no gap at the floor. Another way to do that is to use an H panel vertically, and you can again have a deep panel and a tall panel, putting two panels together using the vertical aluminum channel, the join panels. The compromise here is the aesthetics. They provide a lot of privacy, but there's no integrated design. ADA accessibility standards specify 9 inches minimum toe clearance above the floor under the front and partition and one side of wheelchair accessible compartments. You can, to provide toilet compartments with toe clearance below the 9 inches, compartments must be designed to be 62 inches deep minimum with wall hung toilets, and 65 inches deep minimum with a floor mounted toilet, and 66 inches wide minimum. Maximum height, 72-inch height compact lantern panels can be made up of 72-inch wide, while this usually leaves a reduced gap of about 4 5/16 inches under the panel. It allows the toilet partition panel to comply with the ADA accessible toilet clearance standards exception if you make the compartments wider and deeper. All right, that brings us to the end of learning objective number 2. Let's check the questions been added to the chat feature.
Yeah, so we did, I think one thing I wanted to circle back on was some of the questions we had on fire protection, sprinkler heads that came up in the first section. I think we largely covered that during this section. The requirement of either a single sprinkler head or multiple really comes down to, the selection of your partition. There's different levels that are, required for different options. And, even the one, as long as you had the clearance above from ceiling to partition, then you could use a single sprinkler head. So I think that really covers it. There's a tying question there asking whether or not you needed an exhaust or grill for each compartment, tying that back to, I think, ventilation, which was covered as well.
Yeah.
And then we had a question coming in on, visual alarms. And I'm not sure if this would be I think this might be an ADA requirement, providing visual alarms, but obviously we do have visual indicators available for each stall as well. Can you comment at all on whether each compartment requires its own visual alarm?
There are no, when you say the occupancy indicator is what many partition companies can provide combined with the door latch, and that's on the front of the door. There are no codes, there's nothing in the ADA that talks about visual indicators.
We had a clarification comment. This is relating back to fire protection again, the strobing and visual alarm for fire.
Okay.
And the indication of strobe light. So I'd imagine for, full height partitions that, full floor to ceiling, is there a visual alarm requirement there for strobe lights?
I am not aware of that. That would have to be researched by, in the applicable fire codes.
I think you're given the authority having jurisdiction has the jurisdiction. Is that?
Yeah, the authority having jurisdiction, fire inspector, they would be the source of information about whether you have to have any sort of fire alarm on toilet compartments, either standard or the fully enclosed.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see, the case for full height, floor to ceiling requiring some sort of visual indication. I could see that being a case.
Right.
Other than that, we've had a lot of great questions on fire protection. Maybe I need, fire protection's the next big webinar that we need to get going with their ATS University.
Right.
I think we're already running pretty close to time. Let's get you right back in the next
Yeah.
section.
All right, now we come to some really significant summaries. Here we're going to look at the cost benefit analysis of the different privacy solutions. And things to consider are the space. Things to consider are the cost of the solution versus the budget, and any implications regarding number of trades that complicate and increase the construction. The trades that are involved are plumbing, which is of course required in any privacy solution, construction of drywall and framing that becomes a factor in single-user restrooms and fully enclosed toilet compartments, and the electrical, which involves either individual lighting for each compartment of extended height compartments, fully enclosed or single-user restrooms, and then of course we've been talking about the HVAC and fire suppression systems that add mechanical requirements for enclosed walls and single-user restrooms. And of course, there's tile and paint that's needed. So first, we want to kind of sum up everything we've talked about in terms of the practicality and the privacy features that are down the left side of this chart. And then we're going to break that into gendered and all gendered. And first of all, let me just say that in general, all gendered restrooms will be somewhat more expensive than a gendered restroom with the same square footage and intended uses due to the increased cost of both the toilet compartments and associated infrastructure costs. In gendered restrooms, the increased height toilet compartments are the best choice, as they are extremely cost-effective methods of achieving an increased level of privacy compared to standard compartments. Extended height toilet compartments are a good choice, although they may offer increased construction costs due to the number of trades involved. Standard toilet compartments may be acceptable, but they really offer a baseline level of privacy. Now, for all gendered restrooms, the combination of cost effectiveness and very high level of privacy make extended height toilet compartments the best choice. Fully enclosed with drywall compartments are also a good choice due to the extremely high level of privacy, but they have increased construction cost. The increased height compartments might be also acceptable, but they have a less than maximum privacy, which may be a concern. In both gendered and all gendered restrooms, individual toilet compartments with lavatories are generally inefficient use of space, resources, time, and money, while providing limited user capacity compared to other privacy solutions. So increased height toilet compartments, good, best choice for gendered, and extended height, best choice for all gender. All right, now we want to show you a chart that details the cost difference for each of our 5 different solutions. And we'll start with the standard toilet compartments, the 58-inch tall door, 85-inch tall style. They cost about $825 to $1,825 per compartment, for a total cost of about $4,125 to $9,125 for a 5-compartment layout. There are typically no infrastructure implications. Only painting and only plumbing and tiling are required, and low space requirements. Then we move into the increased height toilet compartment with nominal 72-inch doors, tall doors and panels, and 85-inch styles. They cost about $1,550 to $2,875 per compartment, for a total of $7,750 to $14,375 for 5 compartments. There are no infrastructure implications. Only plumbing and tiling are required, and there's a low to medium space requirement. The extended height toilet compartments feature styles and panels to fit the room's height, and they cost between $3,250 to $5,400 per compartment, for a total cost of $16,250 to $27,000 for a 5-compartment layout, plus about $1,500 per compartment for standard HVAC, and for separate HVAC, fire suppression systems, alarms, and lighting. And then plumbing, tiling, electrical, and mechanical services are also required, and the medium space requirements. Then we move over to the fully enclosed compartment with drywall to fit the room's height. And they cost about $4,000 to $7,500 per compartment, totaling $20,000 to $37,500. The client will also pay around $1,500 per compartment for infrastructure and must coordinate 6 trades: plumbing, framing, drywall, painting, tiling, electrical, and mechanical. And they have a high space requirement. And finally, over on the far right, we have individual toilet rooms with lavatory and all necessary plumbing fixtures. And they cost $27,000 to $37,500 per room, and will require 6 trades: plumbing, framing, drywall, paint, tile, electrical, and mechanical. The client will also pay about $1,800 per room for separate lighting, HVAC, and fire suppression systems in each individual toilet room. On top of that, more space is required for the plumbing fixtures, as well as making sure that all of the single-user restrooms are ADA compliant, have floor clearance for the lavatories, urinals, and wheelchair turning space. All right, that brings us to the end of learning objective 3. Any more added questions in the chat?
Nothing coming in. I did want to highlight, we have reached the end of the official hour here. We'll continue through and finish off. I do want to thank all those that have, spent the time with us so far. I do understand if you have other meetings and other obligations you need to go jump off to. I've put the link in the chat again, as well as the directions on how to register for the CEU event and register yourself for the presentation. If you have any additional questions, we've had a couple of people asking for help with, dimensions ADA design guides. Feel free to reach out to me, zach@atspec.com, and we'll be sure to circle back to you with any of the information you need. I think with that, let's just keep moving along, and we'll kind of get to, any additional questions at the end.
All right, moving into our last objective is where we're going to review the accessibility compliance considerations of the different privacy solutions. Toilet partitions and cubicles should be designed with privacy needs and the desires of the occupants in mind, but they also have to comply with the accessibility standards. And as discussed earlier, different privacy solutions have unique features and different space requirements. When choosing a privacy solutions, it's critical to consider the ADA and A117 requirements. And most unique thing is the toe clearance at the base of the door and at the base of the dividing panel on wheelchair accessible compartments. These considerations also include, for the restroom, entrance, exit aisles, wheelchair turning space, protrusion of accessories into circulation path, clear floor space at toilets, urinals, lavatories, baby changing stations. Privacy solutions such as increased or extended height toilet compartments may also have implications on that toe clearance requirements. And per the standard ADA standards, toe clearance of 9 inches minimum above the finished floor for adults, 12 inches minimum for children is required under the front and one side of wheelchair accessible toilet compartments. The toilet clearance must extend 6 inches minimum beyond one compartment side and the front face of the toilet compartment. Supporting styles are exempt from this requirement. In the ADA standards, if compartment interior dimensions are greater than 66 inches wide and 62 inches deep with a wall-hung toilet, or 65 inches deep with a floor-mounted toilet, no toe clearance is required. Now, in the A117 standard, those toe clearance requirements are a little different. They are now 12 inches high minimum for both adults and children, but now must extend 8 inches minimum beyond the compartment front and one side, exclusive of partition styles. Toe clearance at the front and side is not required by the A117 standard if the compartment interior dimensions are greater than 68 inches wide and 64 inches deep, and with a wall-mounted toilet, or 67 inches deep with a floor-mounted toilet. Designers can achieve a maximum privacy in wheelchair accessible compartments with panels and doors extending down to the floor by making the compartments greater than 67 inches deep and greater than 68 inches in width. The toe clearance under the side panel, front panels, and doors is not required in compartments with these dimensions, regardless of the applicable accessibility standard. These are basically safe harbor dimensions that will meet the minimum requirements in the ADA and the A117 standards for both existing and new buildings. The ambulatory accessible compartment is used in addition to a wheelchair accessible compartment where 6 or more fixtures, including toilets and urinals, are provided. The accessible toilet compartment, ambulatory accessible compartment, has a depth of 60 inches minimum. The ADA and A117 standards allow a range of 35 inches to 37 inches width maximum. The self-closing doors must not swing into the minimum required compartment interior area. The door pull hardware must be installed on both sides of the door near the latch, and a horizontal grab bar must be provided on both sides of the toilet compartment. Additionally, the A117 standard requires a vertical grab bar 18 inches long minimum be installed above the horizontal side grab bar on both sides of the toilet compartment. That brings us to the end of learning objective 4. Zach, are there any added questions?
Nothing coming in on the barrier-free aspect. We did have a question earlier or a comment earlier saying, hey, it'd be great to have some of the dimensions visually. And then they were very happy to see that the images were included in this section here. So you just, slowly drew it out. It's perfect.
Okay. All right. That brings us to the end. And I say thank you for your interest in our design solutions for restroom privacy course today. Going forward, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to ATS, any Bobrick rep, or contact me directly. So thank you very much. I appreciate your interest.
Just while we have everyone still on, I appreciate all your patience as we do get used to this new CEUevents.com reporting system. Did want to again highlight, and we'll be sending this out as part of our follow-up process. The link here, which will take you in, you simply need to sign up. The sign up from CEU Events requires a sign up to issue the CEU credit. They've worked in an agreement. There's definitely no solicitation coming from CEU Events. This is a partner of Bobrick's. And then you can validate your attendance and be done. You should be directed to a page like this where you just hit the register. As well, if you want to find and learn how to simply and easily use the products that kind of being alluded to, discussed a little bit today, Bobrick's got a great digital spec tool associated with ATS Spec. If you're unfamiliar with ATS Spec, we are essentially the house of brands. We bring multiple manufacturers, from architectural brands like Bobrick to water heaters and pumps on the mechanical engineering side, even getting into some HVAC these days if you need help on your PTAC and air handlers. But we also, beyond the amalgamated brand tool like ATSspec.com, we also have a brand specific version that's on a number of our different manufacturers' websites. So this will give you just the Bobrick product, help you find the partitions, accessories, everything like that. We'll take a couple of minutes here just to show you how you can end up, simple and easy specs like this. This is an example of one of our output formats, the schedule format. You can get CSI written specs. You can get nice product brochures, manufacturer spec sheet packages, and of course, submittals that show exactly what you specified. This is one of the key differences within ATS or the Bobrick Dynamic Spec Builder, is the ability to actually specify, the exact product that you've selected. You'll actually go through, configure, and select your options, and then download it in any one of the multiple formats. So ATSspec.com, I've referenced it in the presentation there. If you go to the Learning Hub, we have a knowledge base section that will give you wonderful design guides and break down barrier-free code. This is going to be based on specific regions to ensure that, for example, our British Columbia audience had a presentation earlier in the year as they launched a new barrier-free code. So we have a design guide that was tied to that. We've done specific breakdowns on things like, adult change tables, ADA updates, everything like that. As well, we do have all of our previously recorded webinars here that you can access. And then up in the top right, you can log in and sign up. This is a free system. Your login will work, whether it's for ATSspec.com or the Bobrick Digital Spec Builder. I'm going to walk through once you log in, you have access to all of your project files. You can see this is my demo account. We have hundreds of project files and quick specs and product specified. You can launch a new quick spec or project file here and then start selecting and configuring your product. And that's the same methodology that you would use here on the Bobrick Digital Spec Builder. This can be found on bobrick.com. If you go to the Resource Center and then the Digital Spec Builder tab, that will bring you to a login. You also have a handy video if you get what I talked about right now. And then you can get into your Digital Spec Builder where you could create a quick spec project or master. I've got a simple project file already started up here. It's a Bobrick webinar demo. We're not going to spend, I recognize we're already over time. I'm not going to spend too much time here. You could go to the Add Drawing button and create a new drawing where we can then sort through all the various products that Bobrick has. We could go into our partitions and start refining this down. We had a lot of questions on fire protection. We could refine by fire rating. We could refine by floor clearance or the total height. We can also go down to material types. And then we can actually, again, select and configure. This is one of the key differences between, your general spec sheet available on any manufacturer's website and the configured selection available from any of the white label spec tools or ATS spec tools. We can select, our different finishes as well, see all the different finishes, get a better idea of what it looks like. No, that's not the one I want. All right, yeah, that's better. Hit select. I can also hit to be determined. And then we add the product. So again, this is how we select and configure our actual selection. We could go back and hit add drawing to go back to that category page. I'm going to hit complete and go to this add drawing button again and show you one of the best features that ATS and Bobrick has launched is our masters and templates. If your firm has a master on the Bobrick Spec Builder or the ATS Spec Builder, we will help you keep it up to date and accurate. You can break this down and have as many masters as you want, or you can have your overall, your Zach's Architectural Firm's master. This will ensure that if Bobrick changes a model number, discontinues a product, has a major product change, maybe it changes from the Evolve partition to, Allen's Awesome partition, then we would have an update sent to you. You'd get pinged. We'd help you reselect and have appropriate masters. We also have Bobrick's templates guide here. You can see Bobrick has appropriate product that they've gone through and said, this is great for a master of an office or an education facility, a public school. And those are going to have different recommendations based on the application. So we could go to our airport master or transportation master or that Bobrick office master. We can go good, better, best. If we're doing, we've got our full height partition, let's go to the Class A office. These are the products that they typically see in that sort of application. We would either select all or say, no, I don't need the third one. I don't need that one. We don't need any of the alts. Okay. And then I'm going to drag and drop from that master, from my approved master, from my templates and the application guides into the project file. And then simply, maybe I need to revise this, change a finish, change a length or anything like that. And then download this in, again, any of those formats we saw earlier. All of this is, again, free. That's easily accessible on bobrick.com or atspec.com. Long spec, short spec, CSI 3-part spec, all in Word, Revit files, manufacturer spec sheets, schedules in Excel, submittal formats, and product brochures. All available super simply and easily. Generate the documents, put them into your project file, and then download. It'll keep you current. It will prevent issues with change notices, and hopefully it'll save you a lot of time and save you a lot of headaches. If you need help getting set up on the ATS spec tool or on the Bobrick digital spec tool, please reach out to me. My team will also be sending out our follow-up by the end of the week, and we'll have your certificates of attendance all worked out. We will also, if you have any complications with registering for the CEU events, like I see there was a couple of comments coming up, please feel free to reach out to us. We have the list of who attended and who spent time, so be sure to make sure that Bobrick and the team help you out on that. Thank you very much for your time today. Hopefully everyone learned something. I certainly learned. It was a great presentation from you as always, Alan. You have a lot of great detail, and I appreciate your dedication to communicating that.
Thank you all.
Have a great rest of the day. Bye for now.